Hey y'all, today I'm going to be working on this area again. I've got quite a few things I'm going to plant here, and I will show y'all the dianthus. I ended up losing one. It did definitely have root rot, and but the other two look pretty good. And so let's get started. As y'all can see, I got the two Sunjoy Neo barberries that I wanted to get, so I could finish out this area, which I have to say, I don't think any area is ever really finished. You're always adding to or taking away or replacing. But this one definitely needed the other two, and I've got them now, so I'm ready to get them planted. And I should have... This is not really, for me, the best time. Like, here in the next 2 weeks, at the most, is all you want to be planting shrubs. Or you're going to be watering constantly, which I'm probably going to have to do anyways. But it'll be okay. I don't have too terribly many shrubs that I'm going to be planting. I do have several. And this area is starting to look so pretty. In fact, this whole flower bed, I just love it. And I know there's a lot of people who don't really like the red. But y'all, if y'all ever try these barberries, you're probably gonna love them. And they do have thorns, but I've not got stuck with them, so they're not terrible. They're not like your old-timey barberries. I've had the old-timey ones. They're rough. And these don't get as big as the old-timey ones either. I'll show y'all the specs on this one right quick. They're going to make well, it says they're going to get 5 foot tall and 3 foot wide. But now you can keep these at whatever height you want them. I'm not going to let them get 5 foot right here. 3 to 3.5 foot at the most. I'm also going to be planting some lantana. And now this is an annual for me. But it's so pretty, and it's, pretty drought tolerant. This one's only going to get 2 foot tall and 2 foot wide. And I think that's so pretty. It's kind of a creamy white because it's got a little bit of yellow just saying it. And since it's going to be an annual, I'm not too worried about planting it, really wherever. Now, if you live in a warmer zone where this will be a perennial for you, then you might want to, pay a little more attention about where you're going to be planting it, because even though it says 2 foot tall and 2 foot wide, and that may be all it gets, but sometimes lantana can get pretty good size. Okay, let's move to the other side. This barberry is going to really stand out in front of these little lime hydrangeas. When they start blooming here in a few weeks. It's going to be really beautiful. And then you have this variegated luria rope grass in front of the barberries. Oh, I just got skeeter bit. That are also, you know, have that chartreusey yellow. It's just going to be so pretty, I think. Now, I will say, I need to put some water in that hole. These have a decent root system, but most of the dirt fell off when I took it out of the pot, so it's not a massive root system. Let's go ahead and put some of that black dirt up around it. You just, when you're planting stuff this time of year, just want to make sure you give it plenty of water. That's gonna be your main thing. And I'm gonna show y'all on this side, instead of planting white lantana, I'm planting yellow lantana. Again, this will be an annual for me, because it's only hardy to 32 degrees. And we get much colder than that during the winter time here. But it's also going to be 2 foot tall and 2 foot wide. And I'm trying to stick mainly with reds, oranges, yellows, and whites in this flower bed. Now, when I get this, I'll show y'all something when I get this one planted. That's just kind of funny to me about some of the petunias. Now this lantana, I did get it on clearance, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago maybe. For like a couple of dollars a pot. I think it was like $2 or $2.50 a pot. And now this lantana is going to spread and fill in this whole little area. And like I said, it'll be yellow on this side, creamy white on the other. Now, when I go to plant this gaillardia, or blanket flower, I'm going to show y'all something. Okay, you see that blanket flower back there? I really hated to plant red with red, but it's going to be fine. It'll eventually have to be moved because of the little lime hydrangea behind it. And that's fine. I mean, I don't care to move something in a year or two. But I'm going to bring y'all a little closer and show y'all something about some of the petunias. Do you see that purple jazzberry? That's a jazzberry from Proven Winners. I didn't plant that there, but I did have one here last year. And they self-seed. Ever since I've planted jazzberry, wherever I plant one, I'll have them come back the next year. And there'll be quite a few of them. Like, the Proven Winner ones are not supposed to, they're designed to not drop a bunch of seed. And most of the time, they don't do that. You'll have a seed from different petunias from Proven Winners here and there. That'll sprout up. But it's not, just be one, and you may have none. But the jazzberry is a pretty good self-seeder, so, and I don't mind it. I mean, I'll dig that up later and put it either in a pot or somewhere in the ground somewhere else. I don't want purple here. It's going to look funny. The jazzberry is kind of purple. But it'll get moved and it'll make a big bushy petunia somewhere else. I just thought that was funny. I seen it a couple weeks ago when it popped up. Let's get this Gaillardia planted. Now these are perennials. They're pretty cold hardy actually. If you want to see the specs on it. Minus 30 degrees. So you can grow Gaillardia pretty much about anywhere. And like I said, this will have to be moved I say probably about 2 years. Because that limelight little lime, back there is, they grow fairly fast, but they're not terribly fast growers. I just saw this red Gaillardia. It's the only place it would look right in the flower bed. Over here with these other two, the yellow and orange. I'll show y'all those when I get this one planted. Now you can actually, I'm going to show y'all something. You can actually break part of this off if you break it down real low, because they have little roots sprouting off the bottoms of them. I have done that and planted them, and they did great. But I don't really need another red one over here. And this is really the only flower bed that I've got that I have a lot of red. In. I love red in the garden, but just here and there in small areas. There's weeds in here. But here in the next few days, I'm going to get this cleaned out. I actually had it cleaned out a couple weeks ago. And it was ready for mulch, but I wasn't ready to plant all this stuff. I couldn't because of the rain. And of course, waiting until after all the rain, now I got weeds sprouting up everywhere again. But once I get all these planted today, this bed will get mulched. And whenever I do a tour, y'all see that in the tour. Ouch. Okay, now let's move on to let me show y'all. We're going to move to the end of this flower bed, which connects right there to the side of the carport where you pull up. That's where I've got to replace the dianthus. And I got a couple of Gaillardia daisies that I'm going to plant there. This is the dianthus that I lost, and I hated it that I lost it. But y'all, it's gonna happen. This was my fault. A lot of times it's not your fault when a plant dies. Sometimes it's just out of your, it just happens. This was the fruit punch coral, and I'll pick me up another one later. These were, like I said, I got these on clearance, so I didn't pay much for them. But I hate to lose a plant. You hate to lose any plants if you know. But it happens, and like I said, this was my fault. Now the other two, they look pretty good. I'll show y'all. See these other two? They look pretty decent. In fact, this one looks not as good as the other one, but I think it's okay. And it's already shooting up a little stalk to rebloom. I need to pour some liquid fertilizer on them. I've not done that yet. The other one looks really good. But these I had left in water. I'd said that before in another video. For a few weeks. That was a bad idea. I knew it when I done it, and I should have pulled them out. But life happens, and sometimes you can't get to things when you plan to. And so, but look at these bubble gum. Do y'all see that bubble gum back there? Those came back from last year. And I want to show y'all. This one over here is funny because it's blooming two different colors on the same plant. It looks like a silverberry and a bubblegum all on the same plant. It's so weird. It has to be from a seed. It would have to have been from a seed from, I don't know if it was from the bubblegum. A couple of years ago I did have jazzberry planted in here, but that's been at least 2 years ago. Just in case that got cut off because my battery died. This petunia is blooming two different colors on the same one. This one looks like the silverberry, which it was open earlier today. And then this one looks a little bit like a jazzberry. But so this is weird for me. I've never had one bloom, and well, I take that back. Last year I did have one that did that. But it was striped. It was like the bubble gum with stripes in it. White stripes. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting, and I'd show y'all. I'm going to leave it and just let it do its thing. I think it's going to be really pretty. Now I'm going to go ahead and plant these dianthus. I've got two here. And I also wanted to show y'all the Diora that was supposed to bloom purple. It does have a hint of, I guess, purple to it, but it looks like a really dark, almost crimson color red with a hint of purple. Can y'all see that? It's very pretty. And all of them actually are budded up. So when all of these start blooming with this yellow Stella Diora behind them, I think this area is going to be really pretty. Once I get all these planted and I get all this stuff mulched. Now this is the dianthus that I'm replacing, or that I'm putting in place of the one that didn't make it. It's this one. It's not a proven winners. It's just a Vigoro. This one's going to get 10 inches tall and 15 inches wide. So, close to a foot by a foot. Anyways, let's get these planted. This is how I know that the one I had planted here had root rot. I broke these off. I mean, they just literally broke off from the top of the ground just by touching them. And so, again, my fault. Do not leave your dianthus sitting in water for weeks at a time. Dianthus likes to be watered, well watered, but it does not want to sit in water. A few days is fine. You know, if you're going on a trip or something like I was, I went to a wedding. But I didn't pull them out when I come back like I should have. I left them. And so, if y'all have not grown Dianthus, you really should try it. Because Dianthus, it has a really sweet smell to it. And at least in zone 7 and up, it's an evergreen. So during the winter time, it's still, now it's not going to be blooming, of course, but it will be green. Okay, I got 2 here. I'm going to plant the other one. I'm going to plant the other one right there. Then I'll do the daisies and I'll show y'all what they look like. They are, I'm struggling to keep those watered. I honestly think I could water them twice a day. And so I am going on ahead and getting those planted. Like after about the 2nd week of June, I really don't want to be planting shrubs because it just gets so hot here. But, and honestly, I'm not really crazy about planting them this late in the season either, but you know, you pick up your plants as they're coming in at the nurseries, and since they have them at different times, and I just really don't want to be watering plants all summer long in pots either. The perennials are very hard to keep watered. A lot harder than it is a shrub that's in a pot. Now, after about the 2nd week of June, I probably will still pick up, you know, shrub here and there if I run across one at good deals that I won't. But I'll probably just leave them in pots and water them until fall. I'll show y'all this daisy in just a second. This is just your Walmart Gabria daisy. This one's red. Again, trying to stick with some of the reds and oranges here. There's really no, well, there might be some specks on this side. Yeah, 6 inches tall, 10 inches wide, and it's hardy in zones 9 to 11. Now, this could come back for me, especially if I keep it mulched, because I actually have one out close to the pool that comes back every year. And I've had it for, gosh, I've probably had it 7 or 8 years, because it was one that I just would plant in pots. I had 2 of them. And I would plant them in pots in the beginning, and then just stick them in the greenhouse during the winter time. And after a few years, a couple of years, I started planting them in the ground. Then I would dig them up, and then I just got tired of doing that. And I thought, if they come back, they come back, and if they don't, they don't. And to my surprise, the dark pink one comes back every year. The yellow one ended up not coming back. And look how sad this one looks. But the stems got broke on the flowers. This one's orange and yellow, and it's very pretty. You can see. Perfect for this area. And it's got the same specs. Probably, yeah. Exactly the same as the one I just planted, so we'll see what happens with some mulch. They very well may come back, and if they don't, that's fine too, because I also got those on clearance. About to make a mess over here. Last year, right here is where I had lemongrass planted. And oh my goodness, it loved this spot. It got so humongous. It looked like some of the miscanthus grass. But it smelled amazing. But this year I didn't start any from seed. So, and I don't plan on picking any up, so I'll go this summer without my lemongrass. I just like the way it smells and the way it looks. I know it has medicinal purposes. I don't really plant it for that. But, you know, if you're wanting it for medicinal purposes, then that's great. Go ahead and get those weeds while I'm here. Okay. These daisies will thank me for being in the ground, I hope, by producing beautiful blooms the rest of the summer. And I'm going to show y'all in a minute what all this looks like. Okay. And I probably should have clipped those off since they're broke, the stems. And I may come back and do that later, but right now I'm trying to get this done before it gets dark. Well, this area is ready to be mulched. And I think once some of this stuff spreads out a little bit better, and once it's mulched, it's going to look 1,000 times better. It just looks neat, tidy, and well kept after you get it mulched. But I didn't want to do that until I got it all planted, because there was quite a bit to plant in this bed, because it, you know, goes on around that side. But this is one area of it, and I'm going to take y'all to the front and we'll look at the other area. Oh, that looks so much better with the other two barberries in there. And when you're doing a flower bed, you just have to kind of try to visualize it, you know, in 2 to 3 years from now, because it takes a couple years for your plants to get established and actually start growing where they look good. Just keep that in mind when you're planting, you know, when you're doing a flower bed at all, anywhere, wherever you're doing one. But most of the time, it's not going to look beautiful instantly, but it'll look nice. And you know, like I said, for a couple years, and then it will start growing. Usually about the third year. Now I've had stuff that has took off and started growing during the second year, but for the most part, give it about 3 years, and you can continue to add or take away. You know what works, what don't. You just have to kindly figure that out as you're going, and over a period of time. I also want to say, you know, if you lose a plant here or there, try not to get so disappointed because it happens. It's just a part of gardening. You just replace it with either something different or the same thing. Sometimes it's, you know, your fault, and sometimes it has nothing to do with what you did. Just keep that in mind also. Because you can easily get discouraged if you know, lose a few plants here or there. Like I said, even seasoned gardeners are going to lose a plant here or there. It's just a part of gardening. Anyways, I hope this helps. Until next time, bye.